Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here for my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here on this Wednesday, this hump day, as we sit just 204 days, 10 hours, 43 minutes, and 40 seconds away from kickoff of the 2019 season. And of course, you're watching this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because things happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning. So you want to be up to speed with all that is America's team. Now, we all know that this is a Dak Prescott friendly channel, and I'm going to go toe to toe with anybody about my quarterback. Okay, I just believe in the guy. Even when other people don't, even when people doubted him, I believed in him. That's just me. You know, you can't change it. You can tell me I'm an idiot. That's fine. I still have my beliefs, my opinions. And I'm going to go ahead and do what I feel I need to do. I've had some haters that have gotten on my nerves here and making me question why I go through all this stuff. But you know what? I'm going to be me and I'm going to embrace the hate. I'm going to say what I feel like saying and I'm going to enjoy it. So nobody's going to steal my joy away from me. And when it comes to Dak Prescott, I believe in the guy. But you would think that right now that he is the only guy up to get paid in the NFL. That he's the only contract out there. Because you hear, guys like Jabba the Hutt, Jason Whitlock saying that, offer Dak Prescott 15, $20 million, and if he balks at that, draft the quarterback in the second round. Is that easy? Oh, we can just take a second round pick that's almost a third round, and we can just get a franchise quarterback. Oh, okay. I want to go back. Now, I'm going to say 2016 was considered a great quarterback draft class. Okay? 2016 was considered loaded. And I want to go back through. This is kind of revisionist history here and just look at just one person's opinion on the players, the quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, still in developmental phase after just 2 years at the FCS program, has mental and physical ability blocks of the future franchise quarterback. He rated him number one. Jared Goff, his accuracy and decision making will suffer from occasional lapses, but he displays the tools to become a great starting quarterback with time. That's pretty right on, because he does seem to have lapses. His rookie year was a big lapse. From the middle of the season on through the Super Bowl, seemed like he had lapses and stuff where he regressed and things, but that's about right. So then Paxton Lynch was the third rated one. While he has the physical tools to start right away, a team will be who is willing to allow him to sit and study his craft a year or two could reap maximum rewards for the future. Now I point out Paxton Lynch because the Cowboys worked on trying to trade up to get him to do exactly that, to basically get him behind Tony Romo for a couple of years and hopefully develop into like say an Aaron Rodgers did behind Brett Favre. But Paxton Lynch, is he still in the NFL? Somebody just signed him, but no. Connor Cook. This is the number fourth guy. Cook flashes the potentials of every NFL starter, but he has the makeup of a game manager over playmaker. So we're at the fourth guy in a loaded quarterback class that they say is just a game manager. And Connor Cook, by the way, hasn't done anything. Number five, Christian Hackenberg. Hackenberg has tools, intelligence, and experience in their sentence that should make him an eventual starter, but his boom or bust potential could either get a coach an extension or fired. Okay. Most overrated. Dak Prescott. I don't agree with the masses when it comes to Prescott being the sleeper at the position. A sharp increase in his short game passing attempts helped to skew some of the data in a more favorable light. But there are still some issues with some of his immediate throws and with getting his progression. I love his size, his football characteristic, but I just see him as a career backup, not as a starter in the NFL. So when you look at that, basically on that list of quarterbacks, Jason Whitlock, who thinks that you just draft a quarterback in the second round and you're good to go. That you're going to replace a guy who is, 15-5 in the division, who's won 2 division titles, was Rookie of the Year, and has 14 comeback victories. Basically, they're saying in a loaded quarterback class, you got Carson Wentz and Jared Goff as your 2 franchise quarterbacks. And they say Paxton Lynch is kind of a guy that if he gets to sit a little bit, he'll be okay. So you're saying that basically there's 3 or 4 starters in a loaded quarterback class. There's not a whole lot of quarterbacks. And this year is not considered a great quarterback class. And there's a lot of teams that don't have anybody that will be trying to get the few that are there and taking a risk to get those guys, trading up to try and get those guys, giving up multiple first-round picks. So then you come across Colin Cowherd, and let's listen to this.
Talk about another player's money. Oh, wait. Dak Prescott this weekend talked about both.
Nobody's wife makes as much money as his wife does either. So make sure we know that, all right? When Tom Brady isn't the breadwinner in the home, then that's a great problem to have. So in that case, he can do that. He can do his contracts however you want to do them.
Oh, brother. Tom Brady's wife. First of all, once you get to $100 million net worth, $150 million net worth simply doesn't matter.
Okay, let's stop right there. Because he's talking about how much money Tom Brady has. Dak Prescott hasn't made $3 million in the NFL. There are teams that have second and third string quarterbacks that are making more than Dak Prescott.
It doesn't change anything. It's all about ego. Tom Brady has been restructuring his contract pre-Giselle.
Let's stop there again. When you say restructure, there's also people misunderstand the term. Okay? There's restructure and there's renegotiate. Renegotiate generally means that you are going through and probably taking a pay cut if the team's asking you to renegotiate. Okay? If Sean Lee comes back, it won't be a restructure, it'll be a renegotiation. We're going to cut how much we're paying you. Restructure means basically you're not giving money back. That's not what it means. What it means is you're converting some of the salary money into guaranteed money, which means basically we're writing you a check now for, say, an extra $10 million, and we will take that money and divide it out over the length of the contract. Does that make, let me try to see if I can explain that again one more time. Let's say you are due $20 million this year, okay, and you say, we need some cap space. You could go through and say, okay, we're going to take $15 million of that money. We're going to convert it into guaranteed money, okay? We'll take that $15 million, divide it by however many years that are left, and that's how much the cap hit will be for each of those years. So then your salary goes from $20 million to $5 million is the actual money we're paying you this year, even though we're giving you a check for 20. And however many years, and let's say it's 5 more years left, then your actual cap number for that year would only be 9. That's restructuring, not giving money back. However, Tom Brady does take a lower salary, but it's not because they're using the money elsewhere. New England always has more cap space than anybody else because they believe in keeping the team young. When a guy is about ready to get paid, they'll trade him the year before, get draft picks, and replace him with more people. It's their philosophy. So the money they're saving on Tom Brady isn't going to bring in other players. Very rarely do they have max contracts. Nobody retires from New England and gets a gold watch.
And post-Giselle. Because Tom Brady is all about winning. Kirk Cousins isn't. Kirk Cousins is about getting his money. Kirk Cousins isn't dumb. Kirk Cousins knows that the more a quarterback makes, the less you can afford on your offensive line or in your running game. Both liabilities last year for the Vikings. Players make decisions all the time. NBA stars make a boatload of money with apparel and shoes. Therefore, guys like Kevin Durant best served taking a little less to win more and shaping his legacy. Dak Prescott has all the data in the world now. He is saying he will not take a pay cut. He has all the data in the world. It is.
Now, hold on. Pay cut? Pay cut from his $3 million contract? He didn't say what he would or wouldn't. And this conversation here was a jokingly contract. Nobody said, Dak hasn't come out and said, I want $35 million or I'm going to hold out. Dak hasn't said what his numbers are. The only thing I think I've heard is Dak wants to make sure we can still have a team. And there's ways of doing that, of course, and still taking care of the quarterback. Pay cut? How do you put pay cut into a guy that is getting a contract?
It's clear that in a salary cap league, the top 6 paid quarterbacks, none of them made the playoffs last year. Does Dak Prescott really believe that those 2 major endorsement deals, he's got one with yogurt and one with Campbell's soup?
You mean the one that Cam Newton used to have, who's in Carolina, a small market, or that Donovan McNabb had in Philadelphia, or, the mouth that roared. I'm having a brain fart here. Richard Sherman had in Seattle? Those 2?
That he would have those if not for the Dallas Cowboys. Really? He really believes that. Does Dak Prescott believe that Zeke makes him better? That front 7 defensively puts him in better field position? And that...
You mean the defense that doesn't get takeaways? That's 17th in taking the ball away? That defense? You mean Tyron Smith, who is no longer considered one of the top 100 players, who's missed multiple games over the last couple of years, who's been struggling with injuries, as well as losing Zach Martin? Excuse me, Zach Martin lost for a game, but being on one leg and losing Travis Frederick, that offensive line is not the same offensive line that it was in, say, 2016?
Tyron Smith at left tackle has elevated his protection. Once data is provided to any American, then the choices are yours. Tom Brady has been restructuring his deal. He did it back in the Randy Moss days because Tom Brady's a winner. Tom Brady knew that if I take less, we can get Randy Moss and we can keep he and Wes Welker. That's what Brady's been doing very early in his career. That's why he fits so well in New England. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if New England doesn't just pay Brady in goats, since he is one. This is not about anything about a wife, about money. That is just an excuse to take money and hurt your legacy. There's something very clear that is happening. The 2 biggest stars in America right now in sports are NBA stars.
Okay, we've had enough of that. But here's the thing. It's funny how we can talk about Dak Prescott. That Dak Prescott needs to be the team-friendly guy, the guy that should just go ahead and say, please, can I just have some more and not make money? Because I don't hear you saying that about Aaron Rodgers, whose team is decimated. See, the Dallas Cowboys are in a different position than most teams are right now because the Dallas Cowboys have a young roster. They don't have as many needs as a lot of teams. You look at Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch, you could arguably say the best linebacking core in the NFL that only have 3 years experience. You can look at DeMarcus Lawrence and say he's hitting his prime and his stride. You can look at Byron Jones, who is working on his second contract, who finally has come into his own, and you've got a young coach in Chris Richard who's really implementing his system. You're not looking at a team that has a lot of major holes. Do you want a big guy in the middle? And please, I hope you do. Yes. Do you maybe want an Earl Thomas for experience that can be a ball hawk? Yes, you do. But you're not looking and saying that we need this, and this on this team because they're a young group that has a window that's open. You can't say that about, say, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have needs all over the field. Yet, if you're using this saying that Dak Prescott shouldn't take a contract, what about Aaron Rodgers? He needs some help out there. He can use an offensive line to keep him from getting broke up every year. He can use a defense. But yet, you're not talking about Aaron Rodgers. You know, Aaron Rodgers, you should restructure your deal so you can get some help, do you? Matty Ice, and I know Falcons Nation swears that that team is just ready to rock and roll and there's nothing wrong with them, but they could use some help too. And Minnesota, well, you did mention Minnesota, and I agree with you on Minnesota. But how about Jimmy Garoppolo, 27, Matthew Stafford? You don't think the Lions could use some of that money too? But yet, we're only talking about Dak Prescott and a team that's loaded. Why is that? Why is it when some of these guys are getting $20+ million, like Sam Bradford, that have never done anything? Nobody bats an eye. And we're talking about a team. Let me make sure I have these numbers right. The Dallas Cowboys, Kirk Cousins, by the way, who's got that, has never beaten Dak Prescott. He's 0-4 against Dak Prescott. And going down the wire, Kirk Cousins makes more Tony Onos than anybody else. Lots of great numbers, but when it comes crunch time, you get a brain fart from Kirk Cousins. Dak, on the other hand, 14 comeback wins. But the Cowboys against the Giants with Dak, 4-2. Dak against the Redskins, 5-1. Dak versus the Eagles, 4-2. 2 division titles in a row. Understand, this is a team sport. And right now, the Cowboys have a good mix between Zeke Elliott being the running back that he is, because I know a lot of people think as long as you have a great running back, you're going to do well. But it's more than just that. You have to have a quarterback. It's yin and yang. Between the offensive line and the formula that they have, although they need to tweak it a lot and they need to open up things more, that this is a good mix. And now that the defense is coming along, that the defense is playing better and better, you have the makings of a good team. And it's time for people to at least recognize that, as opposed to just saying that Dak is just the guy who should just be thankful that he's in the NFL and has a job. It just kind of gets under my skin and really just pisses me off. And I know you trolls will be in here talking smack about it. Sorry this video got to be a little long-winded, but there's a lot to say when it comes to my quarterback. But as always, friends, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. I'll see you soon.